Packers Nation, today's episode might define the entire future of this franchise, because what we're about to talk about could decide how far this team really goes. In 2026, what's up everybody? Victor here, and welcome back to Packers Nation Report, the home of real Green Bay Packers fans. And today, we've got two massive storylines colliding at the same time, one on the offensive line, and one that could completely transform the Packers' passing game. First, one of the most consistent, reliable, and durable players on this entire roster is about to hit free agency. A 324-pound anchor who played every single game for 3 straight seasons, posted a 55.9% pass block win rate, top 15 in the NFL, and allowed just 5 sacks all year. That kind of production at left tackle does not grow on trees. And now, the Packers face a brutal question. Do you pay him big money, or risk losing a cornerstone of Jordan Love's protection? Because in today's NFL, if your quarterback isn't protected, your entire season collapses. And that leads us straight into the second bombshell. Rumors are flying that Green Bay could be chasing a true star wide receiver this offseason. We're talking about a 24-year-old playmaker who just put up 1,429 receiving yards, third most in the entire NFL, and instantly became one of the most dangerous weapons in football. And here's where it gets really interesting. Jordan Love personally admitted that he shares the same agent with this star receiver. And they even train and play basketball together. Now tell me that doesn't sound like recruitment season. Imagine what that kind of weapon would do for this offense. With Love continuing to develop, Jaden Reed breaking out, Christian Watson stretching the field, and then adding another elite receiver. On top of that, that's how championship offenses are built. So now the Packers are standing at a crossroads. Do you invest heavily in protecting your quarterback, while also swinging big to give him elite weapons? Because if Green Bay nails both of these moves, 2026 could be something truly special. But before we dive deep into all the numbers, the cap implications, and how realistic these moves actually are, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. But only if you're a real Packers fan. Only if you truly believe this team is about to have a better season in 2026. If you believe in Jordan Love, if you believe in Matt LaFleur, if you believe another Lombardi Trophy is coming back to Titletown, you're in the right place. All right, Packers Nation, let's break it all down. Packers Nation, we need to talk about a move that could completely reshape the future of the Green Bay Packers offensive line, because one of the most consistent, reliable, and underrated players on this entire roster might be on his way out. Yes, Rasheed Walker, a 324-pound anchor, a rock at left tackle, and now one of the top free agents to watch in the entire NFL. This is huge, this is emotional, and this could massively impact Jordan Love, the offense, and the long-term future of this team. Why this story matters so much? For years now, the Packers' offensive line has basically been a revolving door. Injuries, position changes, young players developing, veterans aging out. But through all that chaos, Rasheed Walker quietly became one of the most stable pieces of this offense. And now, the league has noticed. According to CBS Sports analyst Garrett Podell, Rasheed Walker is listed as one of the top offensive tackles who could absolutely cash in this offseason. Translation? He's about to get paid. And maybe paid by someone who is not the Green Bay Packers. The numbers, why Walker is getting paid. Let's talk real stats, because Walker's production backs all this up. First, availability. Walker has played all 17 games in each of the last 3 seasons. That is rare. That is elite durability. That alone already skyrockets your market value in today's NFL. Now look at his pass protection. 55.9 pass block win rate, ranked 15th among all offensive tackles in 2025 via TrueMedia. That puts him firmly in the upper tier of NFL tackles. According to Pro Football Focus, allowed only 5 sacks, just 1 quarterback hit all season. Graded as one of the top run-blocking tackles in the NFL? That's insane. So you've got durability, pass protection, elite run blocking, prime age, mid-20s. That is a recipe for a massive contract. Why losing Walker would hurt. Green Bay. Let's be honest, Packers fans, if Rasheed Walker walks, this offensive line immediately becomes a major concern. Jordan Love took a huge leap in 2025. And why? Because he finally had consistent protection, clean pockets, time to throw, confidence. You lose Walker and suddenly, Love is under pressure. Play calling becomes conservative. The entire offense shrinks. Left tackle is arguably the second most important position in football, right behind quarterback. Letting a young, durable, proven starter walk out the door. is extremely dangerous. The salary cap problem. Why this is complicated. Now here's where reality kicks in. The Packers are currently projected to be about $1.5 million over the salary cap. That's before re-signing Walker, adding free agents, extending young stars. So Brian Gutekunst and Russ Ball have huge financial gymnastics ahead. Can they restructure deals? Yes. Can they create cap space? Yes. But will they be able and willing to pay top market money for Walker? That's the million-dollar question. Because tackles like Walker are getting $18 to $22 million per year. And if some desperate team throws $23 to $25 million annually, it might become impossible. Should the Packers pay him? Now this is where I want your opinion. Because for me, if I'm Gutekunst, I'm paying Rasheed Walker. Period. You already traded massive draft capital for Micah Parsons. You're all in. This is a Super Bowl window. You do not let your franchise quarterback get hit. You protect Jordan Love at all costs. Elite quarterbacks plus elite. Protection, hot championships. Look at Mahomes, Burrow,
Allen,
Hurts. When their offensive lines collapse, everything collapses. Walker is stability. Walker is safety. Walker is peace of mind. What are the Packers' options? If Green Bay somehow loses Walker, their options become draft a rookie tackle with no first-round picks in 2026 or 2027. Rely on young, unproven linemen. Sign cheaper veterans with injury concerns. None of those inspire confidence, which is exactly why retaining Walker should be a top offseason priority. So Packers Nation, let me ask you, do you pay Rasheed Walker top money? Or do you trust Gutekunst to reload through the draft and cheaper free agents? Drop your takes in the comments. I read every single one. This is a huge moment. This offseason is going to define the Packers Super Bowl window. Micah Parsons changed everything. Jordan Love is ascending. The NFC is wide open. And now the question becomes, do the Packers protect their future or gamble with it? Rasheed Walker may not be a flashy name, but he could be one of the most important decisions of this entire offseason. Packers Nation, now we've got a rumor that could absolutely shake the entire NFC. Because there are serious whispers around the league that the Green Bay Packers are chasing a top star wide receiver this offseason. And not just any receiver. We're talking about George Pickens. Yes, that George Pickens. One of the most explosive, dynamic, and dangerous receivers in the entire NFL. And the craziest part? Jordan Love might be directly involved in trying to bring him to Green Bay. This is huge. So if you love Packers football, smash that like button, subscribe to Packers Nation Report, and help us reach our massive goal of 2,000 subscribers. Only real Packers fans join this channel. Now let's dive in. Why this rumor matters so much. Let's rewind for a second. Brian Gutekunst shocked the entire league last offseason by pulling off the blockbuster trade for Micah Parsons. That move immediately told us something. The Packers are all in. They're no longer playing the slow rebuild game. They're chasing a championship. Now fast forward to today, and suddenly we're hearing real buzz that Green Bay could be targeting another massive offensive weapon, this time to help Jordan Love take the next step. And honestly, this makes perfect sense. Jordan Love, the connection that changes everything. This rumor really took off after Jordan Love appeared on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams. During that interview, Love casually dropped something that set Packers Twitter on fire. He shares the same agent as George Pickens. They train together. They play basketball together. In other words, they have a real relationship. And we all know how this works in today's NFL. Players recruit players. Stars want to play with stars. And quarterbacks? They absolutely lobby the front office for more weapons. So don't think for 1 second that Jordan Love isn't in Brian Gutekunst's ear saying, "Hey, go get this guy." Why George Pickens is a game changer. Let's talk real numbers. George Pickens just had the best season of his career with the Cowboys. 93 receptions, 1,429 receiving yards, third in the entire NFL, 9 touchdowns. First Pro Bowl, first All-Pro selection. That's elite production. And he did that in his first season in Dallas after being traded from Pittsburgh. At just 24 years old, Pickens is entering the prime of his career. This is exactly the kind of player that supercharges an offense overnight. What Pickens would mean for Green Bay. Now imagine this offense for a second. Jordan Love, George Pickens, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dontavion Wicks, Tucker Kraft. That is terrifying. That is explosive. That is Super Bowl caliber firepower. Pickens would instantly become the true alpha WR1 that this offense has lacked since Davante Adams left. He's physical. He's elite at contested catches. He stretches the field. He dominates in the red zone. And most importantly, he changes defensive game plans. Defenses would no longer be able to double read or cheat safeties into the box. Everything opens up. Why this move is extremely difficult. Now let's be real. This is not easy. Dallas gave up a 2026 third-round pick, a 2027 fifth-round pick, to get Pickens. And now they'll do everything possible to re-sign him. Plus, Pickens just earned himself a massive contract. We're talking $26 million per year. That's elite receiver money. So for Green Bay to land him, they would need cap flexibility, aggressive negotiations, and possibly a trade scenario, which is complicated. But remember, this is the same front office that shocked the world with the Micah Parsons trade. Never say never. Do the Packers actually need him? Here's the debate. The Packers already have Reed, Watson, Wicks, Dobbs, possibly leaving, but do they have a true WR1 alpha? That's the missing piece. Jordan Love is ready to explode statistically, and elite quarterbacks thrive with elite receivers. Look at Mahomes plus Tyreek, Burrow plus Chase, Allen plus Diggs, Hurts plus A.J. Brown. If Green Bay wants to chase rings, they might need that one unstoppable weapon. And Pickens might be that guy. Now I want to hear from you. Would you trade big assets and pay big money to bring George Pickens to Green Bay? Or do you trust the current young core to develop into a dominant unit? Drop your takes in the comments. I read every single one. This feels different. This doesn't feel like empty smoke. This feels like real league buzz. Jordan Love recruiting. Gute Kunst aggressive. Packers in win-now mode. This offseason could completely reshape the identity of this offense. And if Pickens somehow ends up in green and gold, the NFC better watch out. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to Packers Nation Report, and help us hit our huge milestone of 2,000 subscribers. This is Victor, and as always, go Pack, go!